Welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I am recapping episode 2 of I May Destroy You. It was so appropriately named Somebody's Lying. Trigger warning, we are going to discuss sexual assault in this video. I'm going to keep it as lighthearted as possible, but it is a heavy subject, so I just want to give any sensitive viewers that heads up. I could have used one on episode 1, but it's fine. So in this episode, we start off with Arabella still kind of trying to piece together what has happened. It's still the day after / morning after. She's having a really interesting looking meal with T, and she's obviously really preoccupied, just still trying to figure out, okay, what happened last night. So T asks her, you know, how's your phone cracked? Like, why is your phone cracked? This then triggers another realization for Arabella to call Simon. She, you know, okay, that's who I was with last night. He should know something, you know, and T is like, let's call Simon. Like, he had the coke, like, let's, you know, something is up, like, let's call Simon. Simon doesn't even answer the phone when Arabella calls, so I found that to be really interesting in and of itself. So T gets him on the phone. He's being really sketch, but he assures her that she was with him the whole night and he walked her back to, you know, her place of business, the work office that she was writing from. And this gives her some assurance that, okay, I was safe the whole night. I was with my friend. This is what she needed to hear, because she's trying to convince herself that what happened, that what she remembered happening did not happen. And this is so spot on accurate in terms of what it means to slowly or eventually come to the realization that something traumatic has happened to you. And it doesn't even have to be sexual assault. It could be a number of things. But when you don't want to accept that you have been a victim of something, you will try to convince yourself that what you know to be true isn't true. You can even look at that like sometimes with people, like when they know that their partner, their spouse, their whomever is cheating on them and they have the proof, but they don't want to believe the proof. And it's just, Simon is just so sketch. Something about him I really don't like. And obviously, like, he doesn't want to admit what we eventually find out to be the truth, but Arabella is just like dying to disprove what she remembers happening. And at him telling her like, oh no, you're fine, like I was with you the whole night. And he's like, well, why, you know, what's up? And she's like, how did I get, you know, like my phone is cracked, like how did I get this, you know, my head is bleeding. And he's like, you know, you were pretty wasted, but you know, you fell, it's fine, whatever. Clearly lying. Like, don't play in my face. I don't like him. I don't like Simon. So T walks her back home and she's explaining to T, like, you know, I have this memory that I've been looking at YouTube videos all day about like how you can have a false memory. And T is like, girl, what? And she's starting to look visibly more concerned, because it's like, girl, what you think happened? And what is this? And so she even shows her these YouTube videos about like how people can make a false memory. And it's like, wow, she's trying so hard to convince herself this memory isn't real. And I have seen people go to some interesting lengths just to disprove their own intuition. So I thought that this was really important to show, like, in the process of coming to terms with anything traumatic happening to you, but especially this. So next up, she decides, you know, okay, I was with Simon the whole night, I just need rest. T goes on this auditioning for this feminist beauty campaign. You know, Arabella was running lines with her like a good friend, you know, good sister girl, whatever. And I'm gonna be really honest with you, I thought it was kind of a joke that her section of the commercial was gonna be about hair and saying that, like, you know, black hair is professional, because her wig was not great. And when they got to the point where they asked her, you know, since your section of the commercial or ad campaign is going to be about hair, what's like your hair situation? Do y'all think she should have taken off the wig? Because on the one hand, I realize how precious our hair is to us. I realize how inappropriate it can be for someone to ask you if your hair is real, to ask you to take off a wig. But in the context of you auditioning for a feminist beauty campaign where hair is supposed to be your thing, I'm kind of like, why weren't you prepared to show your natural hair? Or I found that a little bit confusing. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about that. I'm still kind of processing that part, because I'm just kind of like, well, I know our hair is kind of sacred to us, and if you're not prepared, like, girl, no, I'm not about to take off my wig, you know, to those of you who wear wigs. But how are you not prepared for that possibility? I have questions. So Arabella has another memory that she shares with Ben, who seems to be so, he seems to take such care of her, you know, like bandages her head. She's like, I have another memory where I'm at an ATM. And so he looks at her transaction history, and she's like, come to find out, this ATM was actually pretty far from where she thought that they were the whole night. So this leads her back to Simon and Kat's place, and Simon gets caught in a lie. You know, he's saying like, oh, I got the Uber, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Some ain't adding up. So Arabella screenshots his Uber history, and now Kat looking at him like, what you do? Because somebody lying. It's him, duh. Anyway, so Arabella, you know, follows her breadcrumbs and ends up at, is this girl's name Alyssa or Anissa? Alyssa. Unbeknownst to her, she winds up at Alyssa's place, and Alyssa got a little attitude, because it's like she wasn't trying to come to you as a woman. She just trying to figure out what the hell happened to her last night. And I just felt like Alyssa was being really snappy for like no reason, because it's like, Arabella don't give a damn about you being this man's mistress. Like, who cares? So come to find out, Simon ditched Arabella knowing that she was wasted and went to be with his mistress, who we come to find out he pretended that this woman was a stranger that he met on a dating site, but which is entirely possible that he had met her on a dating site, but they had been sleeping together for 6 whole ass months, and come to find out that Alyssa thinks that she was drugged. This leads Arabella to saying like, yeah, I think I was drugged too. And she's like, well, the only common person between us is Simon. So like, you know, were you safe? And Alyssa just like loses her shit and gets really defensive of Simon and just is like yelling at her. And I'm like, Alyssa might need to catch the fade. Like, who you talking to? Dial it down. Why are you so mad? Like, this is his best friend. This isn't even his wife, and you got so much smoke for her. Like, what is that about? So I was really pissed about that. I was confused by that, and I just kind of feel like you all the way in the wrong, and like you have some misplaced anger. So I'll see it for Alyssa. So Arabella then, you know, calls T to let her know I was, you know, roofied, spiked, whatever British term they use for it. Now I can't remember, but she's heading to the police station, and T looks really horrified, and we find out why later. Kwame comes with her to the police station to file this report. This scene was so you see it wash over Arabella as this detective almost kind of explains to her like, you were raped. And you can see, you know, when they're initially asking the questions, she's trying to almost dissuade the detective from saying, you know, anything factual. And she has to kind of lead her to realizing on her own, like, yeah. And you can see it wash over her. You can see it wash over Kwame. And I just felt, it was just a powerful scene where you see someone come to terms with the fact that you were a victim of sexual assault. And during the rape kit, it looked like she also had a bruise like on her knee or something, like was kind of banged up, and then she had a cut in her mouth. And I'm like, what the hell happened? Which is the whole point of this whole thing. What the hell happened last night? So she does this rape kit. You know, she gets home. There's, you know, some evidence that they collect from the house. And as, you know, Kwame and T are kind of trying to comfort her, you know, she's also asking T, you know, like, what happened with the ad campaign? And T is like, I don't think it went great, but T is like, you know, we need to delete Simon's number because he's on some mess. And Arabella is like, this reminds me of Italy. And T is like, what happened in Italy? And she's like, you know, we have to just make an agreement not to leave each other. And you can see T get really emotional. And she's like, I didn't leave you. I told you that I was leaving. And she starts, some emotions start stirring up here, which led me to suspect something happened to T. Because this whole episode, she's been kind of a little bit on edge, a little bit, you know, not wanting to push, not wanting to say or do too much, but it's, you know, it's clear something has taken place here. And, you know, she's getting emotional, but just kind of blames it on the fact that her audition didn't go well. And I'm like, something happened to her. The episode ends with Kat trying to, hello, Shirley, you know, with Alyssa, and Alyssa just really didn't have anything for her, which is fair. Go to your man, honey. Don't take an Uber or drive all the way to wherever the hell in London, I don't know, to question this woman. Once again, you know what you know. Your intuition is not lying to you. You know what you know, and you're trying to prove to yourself that what you know isn't right because you don't want to accept the truth of what you know. Don't fall into that trap, ladies. So I'm really excited to see the next episode. I think the next episode is going to be a Kwame episode, and I told you guys I love his face. I think that he's a super cute, sweet character. So I'm excited to see the next episode and just, you know, how things unfold. I want Simon to catch the fade. And oh no, let me back up. I'm getting ahead of myself. Next episode is episode 3, which I will do after this one. And yeah, so Sunday's episode is going to be, I think, a Kwame episode. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you guys think about this episode, what your responses were to it. And be sure to just, you know, like, comment, share, subscribe. Send some money and some positive vibes. I'm sorry if you guys can hear music in the background, but if you don't know, I live in Brooklyn, and this is just like what happens in New York in the summer. People just play music loudly out of their cars. It's just a part of the culture of New York. You just come to terms with it, child. So I'm sorry if you guys can hear that. I know you could hear it in my podcast that I released this past week. So summer in New York, what is we gonna do? So thank you guys for tuning in. Talk soon. Bye.